spectrum of the fence, you can stay one step ahead of ever-changing pest pressure. Find the right corn trait for your fields at channel.com/corn traits. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
Find out how you and your family can save up to 40% on the meat, produce, and grocery items you use every day by clicking the Clinton Save-A-Lot icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Peterson Insurance Services in Clinton is a 2014 Pekin Insurance Illinois Agency of the Year. Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance. Find out about Pekin's auto, home, or life insurance by clicking on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest in studio, Dr. Michael Tresnak, is the superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools. Good morning, Dr. Tresnak.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. How's your summer going?
Fast, really fast. It's I was looking the calendar, and yesterday was July 1st, and today is July 31st.
Yeah,
so I don't know what happened.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, and I'm going to start talking to your peers a little bit more this month, and I venture a guess I'm going to get that same answer. Summer went fast, and you've been a busy man this summer. You've got a lot going on in your buildings. What's going on?
So we had some construction projects. The major one was at the high school. We put in drop ceilings and all new lighting, LED lighting. Some of that's going to be, we're going to get some money back from our local utility company as part of those energy efficiency incentives. But it really looks good. It's pretty much done. We're waiting on a couple minor things to come in. But we took the hallways, the commons area, all the classrooms, and put drop ceilings in, really cleaned everything up, did some painting in some areas, new lighting in the gym, new lighting in the weight room, a lot of the hallways around those areas got new lighting. We're working on new cameras throughout the whole building. They're still finishing those up right now. And then a new locking system where all our classrooms are going to be on a keyless lock system, where we can monitor where everyone's at and also be able to lock down real easily. So a lot of moving targets this summer, but I think we're going to be there.
Yeah. Now the drop down ceiling, what was kind of the visuals before that got put in? We had basically steel girders up in the top there, and then the ceiling tiles, and then you had a lot of wiring running around. Because I mean, that area or that building was built in the late 50s, early 60s, and at that time, the electrical needs and the technology needs were completely different. I mean, there wasn't internet, there wasn't really computers. And since that time, we've had to run a lot of cabling, and it was all up above there. And so when you came into the building, you saw all these wires running around, and we were able to clean that up. So now it's hidden, and it's just a cleaner look. We had a lot of duct work also that just kind of stood out. And using the drop ceilings and paint, we were able to kind of make those not be as noticeable. Sure, yeah, definitely kind of covering that up. You mentioned it's turned out a lot better than you thought. How's that?
I mean, I had certain expectations going in and certain hopes of what we were going to be able to get done and what it would look like. But, until you see the job get done, you just don't know if you're going to get there. And what I see now, it's just far above what I thought we could get done. I mean, I thought that putting the drop ceilings would clean the things up, but when I really look at it, it makes our building look modern. It makes it look like it's a new building. And I mean, to that point, we're excited. Here in a couple of weeks, we'll be having an open house on the Monday, the 12th, from 5 to 7. That's going to be our time where kids can come and drop off their book bags, drop off their supplies to their classrooms. But we open that up to the whole community. We'd like to have people come out and walk through the high school and see what we've done. We're proud of what we have there. The school board's made a commitment moving forward, commitment to that facility, commitment to that organization that DeLand-Weldon's going to be there. It's going to be there for a long time. And we think people are going to be very impressed with what they see in that building.
For sure, for sure. So, Dr. Tresnak, was this an expensive endeavor this summer?
I don't have the final numbers, but the construction with everything we're doing is between $300,000 and $400,000. Now I'm still waiting to hear. We have one grant request into to the federal government on some of the safety and security stuff. We haven't heard if we're going to get that grant. That would help a little bit. But, I mean, we had the funds on hand to be able to pay for everything. We did not have to go out and sell bonds or anything. We had the funds in reserve in order to do all this work.
Was this something that was underway when you stepped in? This will be your, second year, correct?
I'll be starting my second year.
Yeah.
None of this was underway. So, within the first year, working with the administration and staff and kind of looking around, this is something that just kind of jumped out. It's like, what can we do in this building, especially the high school building? What can we do to kind of clean things up, make it look more modern? And it started with last summer. They had renovated some restrooms. And they had put drop ceilings in those restrooms. And when you took a look at the restrooms and then compared it to the rest of the building, it's like, well, why can't we do this for the rest of the building? And so I think that kind of started it also. And then we just started talking more, and it's like, this is something we can do. Let's do it.
Did you have to bring in engineers or anything crazy
we used
like
an
that?
Architect.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
We had the architect we had been working with, and he used various engineers on some elements of it, but for the most part, we worked with our architect, and we're very happy with the design he came with.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the improvements with the lighting and everything is going to be energy efficiency, which is saving down the road as well. Speak to that a little further.
So all the lights are LED to start with, and then they're also the new codes. They have sensors on them. So like, I'll be sitting in my office, and I have actually 4 different light fixtures in there. And the one end of it, all of a sudden, my lights will go out because I haven't gotten up from my desk for a half hour. It's like, okay, that's my signal. Time to go do my walk.
Yes, exactly. Get some steps in, right?
So
yeah,
we're seeing that, in the hallways and everything. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be curious to see what our electric bills do, because we went from fluorescent bulbs that were pulling, each fixture pulling 80 to 120 watts. Now we're down to maybe a quarter of that.
You may have addressed it. And energy efficiency in terms of heating and cooling, was that an improvement this summer?
We're putting in, working on it right now. We're updating our control system. So we're putting new controllers on all of our equipment so that we have a little bit better, efficient control of it, where we can schedule it a little bit better and just monitor what it's doing. So we're working on that with a company and getting those all put in.
Sure. Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools, our guest in studio here for today. So, Dr. Tresnak, did we miss anything when it comes to summer projects, the work going on? Did I miss anything in there you want to put out there for us?
I think that about covers it. I don't want people thinking we're forgetting about the elementary. So, we did put new cameras and new locks in the elementary.
Okay.
And I think in the future, we'll take a close look at do we want to update lighting and that in another year or two.
Sure.
In that area. We're also, bringing the ag program back next year or this coming year. So we know we have some work to do there too down the line.
Yeah, definitely. That's where I was going to go next. What's kind of down the road? And you mentioned the funds that you used. Those were on hand, so that was an easy way to pay for it. Are there still funds available? And what's kind of next in your mind for your facility improvements?
There's a few moving targets in the future. We do want to upgrade our ag area since we're bringing back the ag program. We also need to do some work in our family consumer science area. That's a classroom based on the 50s and the 60s, and the electrical needs in that classroom are not being met, and we know we need to rewire it, which is not a cheap thing. So we're probably going to look at a package deal with those two rooms.
Okay.
This next summer, looking at some options.
Yeah.
From a funding standpoint, we're in really good shape. We do know we have the wind farms coming in. They're building them now. So within the next year or two, we'll start seeing that showing up on our assessed valuation for our property taxes. So there will be some opportunities there. We actually got exciting news a few weeks ago. So Standard & Poor's rates school districts, and we've always had an A- rating. Well, an A+ rating, and they have increased our rating to AA-, which is a pretty high rating for a school district. So in the future, if we ever had to sell bonds, we would get a favorable interest rate, a very favorable rate, which would save money in the long run. So we were excited to get that rate change.
Yeah. How cautious are you to do something like that? Because that would be an impact to the taxpayer issuing bonds and that sort of thing. Is that something you I wouldn't say take lightly, but you take pretty seriously?
Yeah, I think we look at a lot of things, and one is, what are the interest rates? And if you're sitting on bonds that you've sold in the last 10 years that are at a higher interest rate, and you have an opportunity to refund those bonds and resell and get a lower interest rate, I think it's well worth looking at. It's just like you and I with our house. If we have a mortgage and we have a high interest rate on our mortgage and the rates drop, we're going to refinance our house to try to get that lower rate. So we're always kind of keeping that in mind and looking at that. I think what we're going to see for the taxpayers in the coming years, again, with the wind farms coming in and an increase in our excess valuation, our actual bond rate's going to probably go down because we're going to have more capacity. So we'll always have to kind of take a look at that and see what's in the best interest of everyone.
Sure, very good. Well, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things happening in the district. Dr. Tresnak, one more time, if you don't mind, highlight that August 12th open house and for the community to come out and kind of see what's happened.
So again, we're looking at being open from 5 to 7, the whole campus, so both the high school and the elementary. We encourage our kids to stop by, and if they have their book bags of supplies, go ahead and drop those off in their classrooms, especially the elementary classrooms, and get that all. And then with the high school, they can drop them off in their lockers. But definitely want the community to come in and look at what we've been doing.
Easy enough, yeah.
We're proud of what we have there.
Awesome, very good. Dr. Tresnak, where do folks go to keep up with all things DeLand-Weldon Schools? You on the World Wide Web, social media? How about that?
We are on Facebook, and we're also on www.dwschools.org.
That is Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools, our guest in studio. More to come with Dr. Tresnak on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
Tune into all of WHOW's platforms on AM, FM, and streamed at IllinoisFarmRadio.com for live coverage of the DeWitt 4-H Fair, featuring 4-H'ers from DeWitt, Piatt, and Macon counties. The Farmers City Junior Fair, featuring junior 4-H'ers from the area, and reports from the Illinois State Fair this summer. And see results from all fair judging in the area by clicking the Fair Results icon next to the masthead on DeWittDailyNews.com. Our coverage is brought to you by our title sponsor, Apex Clean Energy, growing a better future for local farmers and landowners in our local communities, along with the Macon County Farm Bureau, Country Financial Agent, John Prater in Clinton, Longview, Community Bank in Mount Pulaski and Chestnut, Maroa Ag, Warner Hospital in Clinton, and Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton. Live coverage of the DeWitt 4-H Fair, Farmer City Junior Fair, and the Illinois State Fair this summer on WHOW AM FM and stream live online at IllinoisFarmRadio.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online, 24 hours a day.
Hi, this is Dr. Sue Sturr at Covenant Animal Clinic, your hometown vet in Clinton. Now is the time to protect your pet from heartworm disease. We are now offering ProHeart 6, which protects your pet for 6 months with one simple injection. Get all the details by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Whether it's damage from a fire or Illinois storms, ServPro of Piatt DeWitt counties will make it like it never even happened. Find out how they can help you by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dr. Michael Tresnak, superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools, in studio with us here this morning. Dr. Tresnak, you mentioned there in that first segment the ag program coming back to DeLand-Weldon Schools. That's exciting. How's that process going?
So we have a new teacher. We hired her back in December, so we were lucky. She's brand new. She was a student teacher over at a neighboring school district, so we felt really good about that. So we're excited to get it started. We're still figuring out all the pieces and parts. We have the space, so they're actually today working on doing some cleaning in there, moving some stuff around. So we're really hoping to see this as a way of providing more for our kids, providing more programming. We need to really look at, and I mean, we could get into the whole philosophical thing, but we need to prepare our kids to be going into society, and that might be going to college, that might be going into a career. And I really am proud of us bringing the Ag Pack because that gives us an opportunity to provide different options for our kids. We'll have that group of kids that are going to go down the dual credit route, Parkland, wherever, and be going on to a 2 or 4 year college. But we also have that set of kids that really have some career aspirations, could go walk out the door and start welding and make a good salary doing that. We want to try to provide those opportunities, and we see the Ag program as the first step of doing that. We have a great relationship with Heartland Academy over at Richland College, and we send a number of kids to that in their senior year. But to get to that point, we really felt that we needed to step up what is available to them on our campus. And so we're really excited about what Ag program is going to do for us. We know it's a work in progress. It's going to take 3 years, 4 years to really figure out what we want it to do for us.
Well, what does the first year of the Ag program look like? Have you had any correspondence with your new facilitator, or what she has planned? What's the first year look like?
A lot of it's going to be more intro courses, so survey courses. The neat thing is we're going to be extending this into our middle school. So our middle school kids are going to have exposure to some of these courses, which then is going to open the door in future years for us to do more courses because they've already going to have the introductory courses of Ag. So,
and that's how you build an Ag program.
Right, and it's one step at a time. And we've tried to be clear, we're not trying to do everything in the first year. We know that that's not going to happen. We're trying to build it from the ground up and get to a vibrant program. You've been out there. We're definitely an agricultural community, and
I mean, your building is literally surrounded by fields.
Yes.
So yeah,
and so I mean, as we look into the future, and you look at agribusiness is one of the largest growing areas around. I mean, you got ADM down in Decatur. Their whole business is based around agriculture and all those needs. You have even a Caterpillar or whatever, and so we need to provide those opportunities. And we see the Ag program as being a critical piece to providing those opportunities.
I venture a guess. There's also in building this program, you need continuity in that leadership position. Speak to how you approached and, sought out your Ag leader, and said, hey, this is something we need for the long haul. We need you here for the long haul. Speak to that a little bit.
So we are taking advantage of, there's some various grants out there. One of them was called the Three Circles Grant, which allows us to pay that teacher extra in the summer to do summer work.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then having that relationship with the FFA programs. So there are some incentives that we can put on the table through these various grants to make it more interesting for a person. We've tried to be very clear to her that, this is your program. Make it into what you want. And being a brand new teacher, it's kind of a neat thing for her. She's not coming into any preconceived ideas of what the program should be. And then she's not coming from another program with all, this is truly, you got a clean slate. See what you can do. And, and so we felt very lucky that we found a person that we think fits perfectly with what our needs are. A local person who just finished student teaching but has strong agricultural backgrounds. We're just really excited about what we think this is going to provide for us.
What's your big vision for the ag program, Dr. Tresnak?
I see it as a means to provide more opportunity for our kids. We call it ag, but the thing is, ag's a large umbrella. So there are potentials for welding. There's potential for electricity. There's potential for small engines. So many different pieces and parts that the kids could get exposed to, and they could see, hey, I have an interest in this. And then that grows into our relationship with Heartland Academy.
You mentioned programming. What's kind of next from your perspective after you establish an ag program? What comes next?
Well, I think when we're looking at the high school, and one of the things we're going to talk about this year with our kids and with our staff is high expectations. And it's our job as an organization to push our kids to their maximum potential, whatever that is. And so as I look at the ag program, that's just one piece of the whole puzzle. I want to also be able to provide the academic needs that our kids have, be it more dual credit, either with our relationship with Parkland College, whatever that is. We want to get to that point so kids have every opportunity possible. So when they walk out of DeLand-Weldon High School with a diploma, that diploma is setting them up to move forward and become productive parts of society.
20 seconds, Dr. Tresnak. Highlight your open house later next month.
So again, we'd really like to have people come out. It'll be on the 12th. Double checking over the 12th from 5 to 7 on the campus of DeLand-Weldon, and we like to see everyone come out and see what we've done.
Very good. Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools, our guest in studio. Network news on the way.
WHOW.